Yep. So Greg, can you tell us a little bit about you and kind of your, how you got started in this business and kind of what you like about it?
Well, it's interesting. I come from a family background of having my father in the business for 20 years, and I was pretty adamant that I was not going to be involved in insurance business, and he convinced me to, look into the opportunity. And at the age of 21, after college, I jumped in with both feet. And 42 years later, here I am, with a regional insurance broker and enjoying every minute. And I think the thing that I really enjoy about it, Todd, is that, we're serving a community of people. And I think that's, as I've looked over the last 40 years of my career, I enjoy that the most. And dealing with people is what I find rewarding, and it suits my personality. And I think that serving a community of people, whether it's in business or just serving people in general, is what I do best. Yeah. So that's what I've been enjoying.
Yeah. So what is it? You had you and I. Why don't you tell the story? I think we can't not tell the story about how we met and kind of how that went. So could you just share the story of how we met and then kind of what you did with that and where it went? So could you kind of just tell the whole, how did ASDA come to be?
Sure. I'll give you a quick thumbnail sketch of that. We have a relationship that we formed through Tom Williams, who was our CEO and involved in Charter Partners. He really wanted to engage Charter Partners and InterWest together. So what he did is, along with your brother at the time, brought both of you out to California and had a meeting with, about 20 of our folks here in the Sacramento office at the time. And for whatever reason, I wasn't able to attend or invited to that meeting. And it wasn't until you were walking through the office and you just popped your face into my office and said, "Hey, who are you?" And we started chatting a little bit, and we found that we had some similarities. I had 3 clients that were in the paving and striping business. And you looked at me and said, "Well, gosh, Greg, I think we should be able to put something together here. And by the way, we have this program called ASDA, which is Asphalt Surface and Development." And we made a commitment right then and there to join forces together. And that commitment has now lasted for 26 years. It's fascinating that when you had said, "Well, let's just repot the ASDA group in the East and repot it out here in the West." And it really was kind of a light bulb experience, because typically it takes a year to get these things off the ground. And literally within a month's time, we had 3 members in the ASDA program, and now we've built it up to close to 95 members, over $14 million in business, and we're a leading force in California for this type of a concept, and it's been just fabulous. Another note to that is, we've kind of re-engaged each other in a relationship, and both our firms, we had decided to move away from Charter Partners at a particular time when Charter Partners was going into a captive, I think 15 years or 14 years. And then we started building it out here on the West Coast ourselves, and really built it on a framework of a community group, a co-ed type of approach, and didn't change any of the philosophies and concepts of charter partners. I think that's why it's been successful today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great. And, I think people at charter partners, including myself, would say, geez, Greg did this better than we did. You implemented these ideas better than anybody I've ever met. And so I'm very impressed with you.
Well, I
and the success that you've had and the principles that you've always held on to, these principles, which is and built it up to the largest program that I know of that came out of that 20-year project. So congratulations on that.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's a really simple approach, but I think what you have to do is you have to have a mindset change. And in the insurance business, as you know, we're transactional, and a broker or what we call a producer, when they're involved, they are pursuing individual accounts. And what I really needed to do, and you along with your brother taught me this, is changing my mindset to not being so much a transactional production person, but being more of a community facilitator. And once we became a facilitator, that changed the whole role and the whole model of how we go about building out a program like this and building that out with client members. So I think that approach, was a simple approach. You just had to kind of wrap your mind around the change. And once you change, you never really want to go back.
Wow. So you went from a couple $100,000 in premium to 14 million over that period of time. Is that right?
Back in that time, we probably had about in the book of business that I was handling, about $350,000, $400,000 of business, and it's been built up now to about 14 million. Yeah, and that it hasn't been done 100% on myself. We've been able to expand that with 2 or 3 different producers within our firm. I would say the majority of that business has been written and produced by myself. I would say that's probably 75 to 80% of that. But collectively, yes, we've really grown it. We've grown slow, methodically, and chosen, I think, the right client members, we call them members, to be able to build this out.
I think you have. What do you think? What do you like about it for yourself? What does it do for you?
Well, financially it's rewarding, obviously, but I think what's really nice is that over the last 26 years, it takes us out of the traditional transactional side of the business, and you're dealing with clients at a higher level, and that's what I like, the personal connection with members. That's fun. I don't enjoy sitting behind the desk like we're doing today. I enjoy getting out in front of clients and building something with them and helping them solve problems. So it's really, more about solutions, bringing new solutions to the industry that is very, very traditional. So we've gone very non-traditional, and that's very much how, things have evolved into a captive model.
What is it that you think that the members get at it? Like, what do you like about this for them? What's different for them, and what do you like about it for them?
Well, if I was to, have a conversation with one of my members, it would pretty much go like this, and the members relay this back to me all the time. Number one, they like the fact that there's stability in their insurance program, and the stability, particularly in the construction industry, when it's ebbing and flowing depending on what's happening in their business, stability is very, very key for them. And secondly, I think they really enjoy the fact that they're building a community together, that they have say in the insurance program. They can meet the underwriters. They know who's in the program. They know there's the same philosophy from company to company. And then they get to learn from each other. And that's pretty unique. So we've had a solid relationship for over 26 years with members that have been tied together in an insurance program that they get to have say, and they get to have input and influence in that. So I think that's what you would really hear from many of our members.
Yeah. So is there anything, is there anything that you feel is concerning about this, either for you or what kind of, like, if somebody was going to look at this program and say, well, there's always another side, right? So what is the side, if you were, that you would feel would be concerning, if any? Maybe there is another side. What do you think? Is there anything?
Well, I mean, making that transition individually, personally for myself, making a transition from just having a book of business, which may vary from trade to trade or industry to industry. When you collectively come together and target a certain segment of business, I think on a business sense and a personal is tying your group of members, your clients, to one particular carrier. Having all your eggs in one basket. And we experienced that. We had a long relationship with two carriers over the last 25 years, and that just recently ended. And that is something that, for me, is pretty frightening. You have a large segment of business, and now you're having to transition that and convince some of the new carriers that this is the model we should participate in. And Todd, as you and I know, this is not an easy model for many people to be able to conceptualize. It's simple, but it's in the same token, it's not that easy. And taking this model and plugging it into a traditional setting typically doesn't fit well. So you have to engage multiple potential partners, to get to the place to where we've been. And I think that's been the challenge. And I know over the last 18 months, it's been a big challenge. And we're still in the middle of that process. But I will say this, our members are 100% committed to this concept. And because of that, we can move forward. So, we have our challenges, but life's full of challenges.
Yeah. Well, I think it works a lot because, the primary reason this works is because of people like you who, in my opinion, have battled through having to change your paradigm and then educate person after person after person after person, and then live that model. And so I give you a lot of credit for what you accomplished. I really do.
Well, Todd, you have to be committed to this type of model. I mean, it's not for everyone. And the word control sometimes is a negative, but I look at it as a positive. If you don't control the process of what we have set forth, the concept that we have, if you don't control that process through the entire transaction, whether it's with a client, with a carrier partner, or some of our third-party administrators, it's just not going to work. And there's a lot of people out in the industry, and I get back to the traditional side of the industry, that just cannot wrap their mind around this type of concept. So that's our big challenge. And, we're here today because of our conversations just recent over the last 15 months or so. And here we are, building this thing again in a somewhat different model.
Yep. And the new improved version. So that's
the new improved.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share that I didn't ask you if you were talking to another agent, is there anything else you would share? If you were talking to another member, is there anything you would share? Or do you think you've got out what you wanted to share?
No, I think, if there was another agency brokerage involved in Charter Partners, you got to be committed to the process. You just can't do this part-time. It's very rewarding, and there's great things to be able to bring to the table for your clients. And in making that commitment, as you know, it's 100%. I don't sit here in Sacramento and just have video conferences with you, Todd. I'm committed to coming out and having face-to-face meetings with yourself, the insurance carriers, the third-party administrators, whomever that may be in the group that we need to build the relationship with. But it takes a commitment to continue to build the relationship. And look at, you and I have had a long-term relationship, not only on a business side, but on a personal side. And that, to me, is very rewarding.
Yeah, no, that's important stuff. I guess it's the people that knew you when you were younger and have lived with you all that time. There's a different relationship than if you just met somebody, even if it's a good one, So I appreciate you. I do.
Yeah, it's why it works, right?
Yeah.